Welcome to the look at the BL cars, Practical Classics and Restoration Show. Showing a bit of a mini restoration there. Over to look at the MG Metros. The MG Metro came out in 1982 with an uprated 1275 A+ series engine, originally found in the Mini Cooper, developing 72 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 in 10.9 seconds, and topping out at 103 miles an hour. They had a turbo version as well, developing 93 brake horsepower, and 0 to 60 time in 9.9 seconds, 112 miles per hour, with a stiffer suspension. The red one looks like a Series 3 MG Metro. This is the original sort of Series 1 bump in the bonnet. Both MG variants had the famous red seat belts. The Metro was the first of the modern MG badge engineered saloon cars before the MG Maestro that you can just see in the background, the Montego. The MG Metro was shelved in 1990, taken over by the Rover GTI in a different shape, slightly modified shape really, same body, just different wing, a different bonnet. Same big blue MG Maestro. So BL badge engineering continued in 1983 with the MG Maestro, which originally came with a 1.6 litre twin carb engine, only for a year before being replaced by a 2 litre injection O series engine with 115 brake horsepower and 115 miles an hour, and 0 to 60 time in 8.5 seconds. Again, you see the typical sort of MG seats and MG seat belts of the time. Next to the blue one, we have a green MG Maestro Turbo. This was the daddy of the Maestros. It's incredibly rapid for the time, with 0 to 60 times 6.7 seconds, smoking anything that Ford had at the time. Top speed of 128 miles an hour. The MG Maestro Turbo was a limited edition, only 505 cars, of which 500 were production cars and 5 were press cars. They're only in production for 2 years. Strangely, the engine was actually a single SU car, not the 2 litre injection that was in the non-aspirated MG Maestro car. There's not many of these left. I'd love to own one. I remember driving one back in the day, and they are scary fast, but they don't seem to go around corners very well. So, next is the Metro 6R4. This is the daddy of the Metros. There is very little Metro in the Metro 6R4, just Metro bodywork sitting on top of a Space Marine chassis. Developed for Group B rallying against Ford RS200s at the end of Quattro. Group B rallying outlawed 6 months after its launch. 2 models were produced, the Clubman model developing 250 brake horsepower, was a V6 engine. 200 of these were sold to the public, and an international spec with 410 horsepower. Austin Rover pulled out of rallying at the end of the season, though the engine was actually later used in the Jaguar 220 supercar. I remember watching these doing rallycross against the RS200s later on. We have a Rover 220 Turbo Coupe Tomcat. This is the fastest production Rover ever built. The 250 miles an hour performance and 0 to 60 time of 6.2 seconds. It actually held 37 Lansbury records, of which 36 still stand, using a 2 litre 16-valve turbocharged T-Series engine, which is actually a heavily revised O-Series engine. By far the British Rover, it came with glass T-bar, given bags that can stow those glass roofs in the boot, to give an open-top experience when you wanted it. This particular one is actually the same colour as one that I had, but This one has had a bit of fast car sort of additions like Lexus rear lights, twin exhausts, and also the silver sort of M3 mirrors, which mine, throw them all in the bin, the original stuff back on again. As well as the turbo version, also came with 1.6 litre, which didn't have a spoiler, 2 litre normal aspirated, and then later on they replaced the turbo with a 1.8 VVC engine, which really wasn't the same at all. Usually, if you look at those alloys, those are the turbo alloys. A number of these were actually at the end of the production run. The turbos were sent over to Japan. Sometimes you see them coming back to our shows again, and their registrations always end with FH. They come with air conditioning and faux leather. Series 2, that one there, has the Rover grill on it. Series 1, which is next to it, it just has the little Rover badge. I prefer the Series 1, to be honest. Yes, I'd love to have another one of those. I did actually look for one, but when I was looking, there was a lot of good examples around. Searching by an MG TF instead. There you can see the roof, that centre bar in the middle comes out as well. This looks like a normally aspirated one. Notice the different wheels. Air intake says injection instead of turbo. Rover 200 with a 143.8 injection VVC engine. Comes actually with a limited slip diff, an engine here, and an interior from Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. It's like a bedroom, but not really. The orange surround grills in the front harken back to the BRM races in the 50s and 60s. Just similar there. Though I remember at the time it was like people described it as lipstick on a pig, but still I think they look better now than they did then. Though using that BRM sort of reference, I think struggling to sort of the market didn't really understand that because they were just selling to for a hot hatch. Less than 800 of these were produced and very few survive. Yes, they command a bit of money, these. As Rovers go. Yeah, just explained how the VVC part works. I think he said it was a cheap version of a Honda one.
Essentially what you have is a camshaft split into four pieces. So you have
this is a really good example of BRM.
two pieces, and this belt separates into three halves.
A Rover SD1 2600. 2600 model, not much slower than the actual 3.5 litre V8 famous sort of SD1. 2600 off-road, 21 miles an hour. 3.5 litres, 25 miles an hour. 6-pop model, with a lot less thirsty for economy. Really popular car drivers. Steering wheel is very 70s. You notice the difference between the red V and the Vitesse next to it. This one doesn't have a rear spoiler. This is an MG ZT V8, which I do love it when Rover goes a bit mad. Following on from the 220 Turbo MG, Rover decided to take their flagship MG ZT, fit it with a 4.6 litre Mustang engine, and unshackle from BMW's rules, which stated they couldn't make rear-wheel drive cars that did just that, making the drive come from the rear. Not much faster than the front-wheel drive V6 version, rather thirsty fuel consumption, only produced for 2 years, making 253 brake horsepower, not 60 times 6.2 seconds and 155 mph top speed. The average fuel economy in one of these is 23 miles per gallon. There's a number of ZT specials, including a land speed record holding estate car developing 800 brake horsepower with a top speed of 255 miles an hour. Just looking at the Rover SD1 test V8. SD1 lasted for 10 years from 76 to 86, having a facelift in 1982. This is a facelift model. The test form was a bit quick for the time, respectable 35 mph top speed, good acceleration up to 16.7 seconds. As I said, this is a faceless version, you can tell by the interior, which looks much more the major bronze one earlier. This is a really well restored version too. Rover 200 Streetwise. At the end of the Rover 200 run and trying to get into different markets. Younger market, Rover developed the Streetwise. Not a great hit at the time, came before its time. If you look at citrus, cactus, and other variants you see knocking around now. Rover hopped up the suspension, fitted chunky black bumpers, made between 2003 and 2005, but later revived in China in 2008 as an MG3 station wagon. This one has a 1.8 VVC engine, which originally wasn't offered as an option, those being a 1.4 or 2 litre diesel or 1.8 auto. Not many Streetwise left either. There's not many really sold at the time. Here we have another Rover coupe. This one's a barn find. Normally aspirated one. Lots of leaves, lots of holes, and lots to fix. This concludes our look around the BL Rover MG cars. There's a few more videos to come. Please like and subscribe. And get some more ones up, some loads of stuff. Some cars that we don't see every day.